Chapter 4. The Unraveling Thread. The Burtonite office of Nexon Innovations was a ghost ship adrift in a sea of city lights. The open plan floor, usually a cacophony of keystrokes and ringing phones, was deeply silent. But for Alex, sitting alone in the blue glow of his monitors, the air was screaming with data. For 2 days and nights he had been submerged in the digital lives of his targets. A patient frontier sifting through the endless river of information he diverted to his own private reservoir. He had Mark Sharma's life laid bare, the terrified emails to his wife, the frantic Google searches for immigration lawyers, the crushing weight of his family's debt in Dubai. It was a portrait of quiet desperation, a vulnerability Andy had exploited with surgical cruelty. Alex had the email chain proving Mark's coercion, a potent piece of blackmail. But blackmail was a messy, brutish tool. It was loud. It could backfire. It wasn't elegant. Alex's goal wasn't just to win. It was to craft a conclusion so perfect, so complete, that his own hand would be invisible. His focus remained on Andy. He watched the man's digital habits, the rhythms of his vanity and ambition. He saw the daily logins to luxury retail sites, the constant refreshing of articles about corporate climbing. And he saw the regular, almost ritualistic connection to a private, cryptid cloud storage service. It was Andy's digital safe. Whatever secrets he deemed too precious for the company's servers would be in there. The obstacle was the encryption. It was strong, standard IS 256. A direct assault was computationally impossible, but Alex wasn't interested in breaking the lock. He was interested in finding the key. People were the weakest link in any security chain, and Andy Vance, for all his bluster, was just a person, a vain, predictable person. Alex initiated a packet capture protocol specifically targeting Andy's connection to the cloud service. He waited. At 11:32 p.m., the connection blinked to life. Andy was working late from home. Alex saw the encrypted data stream begin, a single large file being uploaded. He captured the data packet containing the file itself, a jumbled mess of meaningless code without the doubt Nasing's key. Now for the key. Alex had built a profile of Andy's ego. His passwords wouldn't be random strings of characters. They would be affirmations. He compiled a custom dictionary for his password cracking script. It contained permutations of Andy's name, his job title, the names of luxury brands he favored, and, most importantly, titles he aspired to: Vance the Man, Nexus King, SEO God, and, of course, variations on the job he so desperately craved. He let the script run against the captured file. Thousands of attempts per second, a silent digital siege. He watched the progress bar crawl, his face impassive. This was the patient work of a hunter checking his snares. An hour passed, then another. Just as the first hints of dawn threatened to lighten the London sky, the script chimed a soft, clean tone that cut through the silence like a gunshot. Atis guaranteed. Key, future he DS Vance. Future head of digital strategy Vance. The sheer pathetic vanity of it almost made Alex laugh. He tapped on the file. It wasn't correspondence or personal information. It was a presentation, a 6-page strategic proposal titled Nexus 2025, a paradigm of digital dominance. It was glossy, filled with impressive charts, and laid out a bold vision for the company's future online strategy. It was also a complete fabrication. Alex's eyes narrowed. The core concepts, the foundational data models, they felt familiar. He cross-referenced the terminology with Nexus' internal M&A archives. And there it was, a due diligence report from 18 months prior on a boutique analytics firm called Cogneti Analytics that Nexus had considered acquiring before the deal fell through. Andy had taken C. Cognito's proprietary strategic framework, polished it, slapped his name on it, and was planning to pass it off as his own genius. This was it, the breakthrough. This wasn't just unethical. It was blatant intellectual property theft. If C. Cognito ever found out, the liability for Nexus Innovations would be catastrophic. This went far beyond a simple HR complaint. This was a corporate time bomb. The sheer desperation of Andy's ambition had led him to commit a crime that could cost the company millions. This was the weapon Alex had been searching for. It was precise, devastating, and aimed directly at the heart of the corporate machine. A wave of exhaustion washed over him. The screen's glow was starting to hurt his eyes. He stood up, stretching his cramped muscles, and decided to walk. The elevators were silent at this hour. He took the stairwell, the concrete steps echoing his footsteps. As he rounded the landing to the third floor, he heard a hushed, frantic voice from below. It was Mark Sharma. He was pressed against the cold wall of the stairwell, his phone clutched to his ear like a lifeline. He was speaking in rapid, hushed Hindi, his voice thick with panic. Alex froze, melting back into the shadows of the landing above. He didn't need a translation app. Desperation is a universal language, and he had spent the last 48 hours becoming fluent in Mark's specific dialect. "No, I told you, I can't ask for more," Mark whispered into the phone, his voice cracking. It was supposed to be a on-time payment. He promised, "Yes, I know they need it, but he has all the power here. If I push him, he could destroy everything." A choked sob escaped his lips. I will try." Mark ended the call, slumping against the wall and burying his face in his hands. He was still being squeezed. The arrangement wasn't over. Andy was likely paying him for his testimony, dangling tiny sums of money to fuel his family's needs while holding the visa threat over his head. And in that moment, the entire plan clicked into place in Alex's mind with the cold, beautiful clarity of a perfect algorithm. The two threads, Andy's stolen proposal and Mark's ongoing, desperate coercion, were not two separate weapons. They were two parts of the same mechanism. He didn't need to expose Andy. He didn't need to leak the stolen file. That would put the focus on Alex the Wahal. No, the plan was far more elegant. He would create a scenario where Mark, in his escalating desperation for money, would become the instrument of Andy's undoing without ever knowing the true nature of the game. He would set the stage, apply the right pressure, and let Andy's own sins, amplified by Mark's desperation, consume him whole. Alex backed away silently, leaving the weeping man in the stairwell. He felt no pity. Mark had made his choice. He was no longer a person to Alex. He was a variable, a lever to be pulled. He returned to his desk, the exhaustion gone, replaced by an icy surge of purpose. He brought up his secure email client and composed a new message, not to anyone on his team, but to the one person in the company who would understand the need for discretion. To Elena Vance. Subject: Quick question. Elena. Need to schedule a day trip to the head office soon. Could you discreetly find out which C-suite executive is personally overseeing the selection for the new head of digital strategy role? Thanks, Alex. He hit send. The digital breadcrumb had been found. The real-world confirmation was secured. The weapon wasn't just loaded anymore. He had just aimed it at the heart of the enemy. The lion was now preparing to walk into the den.